It's Friday, August 8th. War escalation. Israel is moving ahead with its plan to retake Gaza City despite growing calls to end the conflict.
The Canadian Armed Forces will now be deploying a reconnaissance element to assist and assess the wildfire situation.
Coast to coast, officials and fire crews are trying to tackle the many wildfires burning out of control from BC to Newfoundland and Labrador. And back at the table, Air Canada and its flight attendants resuming negotiations today to avoid a strike that could begin as early as next week. The sweet sound of victory. Victoria Mboko caps off her stunning run at the National Bank Open as a champion. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
I'm Matt Scooby. Good morning.
Yeah, happy Friday. I'm Kelsey McEwen. Hope your day is off to a great start.
Did you watch yesterday?
I certainly did watch.
It was very exciting.
So exciting. The crowd was wild. The Toronto crowd reaction after they found out that she won was one of the best parts, too. They interrupted the men's final because they had found out that Vicky had won. So it was amazing stuff last night.
There was only like one flying note that went for me, and that was Naomi Osaka's speech before they gave the trophy to Victoria. And, you know, I have watched Osaka play over the... I know she was disappointed. She was visibly disappointed, visibly emotional, but no congratulations. Yeah. Very, very short speech. And then you flip it over to the men's side and you listen to both of their speeches, and I was just like, come on. She's been in that spot, right? Remember when she beat Serena Williams and the crowd booed her and, you know, Serena Williams came through and was really positive, and I just was expecting a little bit more from Naomi Osaka.
Yeah, a little finicky for her and some of her reputation for what she was. Exactly.
There's an art to losing gracefully.
That's right.
There is. Yeah. Let's get to it, shall we, too? And we'll show you a little bit more that fairy tale ending for 18-year-old Vicky Mboko, who won the biggest tournament of her young career.
The maiden of Montreal. At just 18 years of age, Victoria Mboko completes a magnificent run to her first tour title.
After dropping the first set, the teen sensation from Burlington showed her fighting spirit again, defeating four-time Grand Slam champ Naomi Osaka in 3 sets to win the National Bank Open in Montreal. Mboko becomes the 3rd Canadian woman in the Open era to win the tournament on home soil.
To do something like this and to tell my younger self that just to keep training, keep believing in yourself, and like, oh my God, I'm getting so emotional right now.
Mboko entered the tournament as a wild card after starting the year ranked outside the top 300 players in the world. She will now climb to 25th in the women's singles rankings and be seeded for the U.S. Open later this month. In other news, Air Canada and the union representing 10,000 flight attendants are back at the bargaining table today, trying to avoid a possible strike. Members of Air Canada's CUPE component voted 99.7% in favor of a strike earlier this week. Now, that vote means flight attendants with both Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge could potentially walk off the job as early as August 16th with a 72-hour strike notice. Air Canada says it's not considering flight cancellations or postponements because they are focused on reaching a deal before next Saturday. Hundreds of people are on the move as wildfires in Newfoundland continue to burn out of control. Some communities, including Harbour Breton, fear they'll be cut off.
That's our only link to the rest of the province is through Route 360.
The wildfire is threatening the only road linking it to the rest of the province, affecting ambulance services and food supply. Meantime, the Conception Bay North communities of Salmon Cove and Ochre Pit Cove are the latest towns forced to evacuate. Officials are also warning anyone violating the provincial fire ban will now face a fine of $50,000. In Nova Scotia, many people are expressing confusion and frustration over new wildfire rules there. Those rules include a ban on hiking, fishing, and using vehicles in the forest, and any camping outside of designated campsites. Now, violations could cost $25,000. The Provincial Department of Natural Resources has been flooded with questions about what is allowed. And Manitoba has extended its province-wide state of emergency for another 2 weeks as 14,000 people remain out of their homes. Manitoba remains one of the hardest hit provinces with more than 150 wildfires currently burning, with some dangerously close to communities. And on Vancouver Island, crews fighting an out-of-control wildfire are now building helipads to improve access to flames burning on challenging rocky terrain. Across BC, approximately 400 homes have been ordered to evacuate, with another 700 under an evacuation alert. Israel's plan to retake Gaza City will move ahead. We're going to have a live look at Gaza City this morning. Now, despite growing international calls to end the 22-month conflict, the takeover was approved by the country's security cabinet. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the move is needed in order to end the war with Hamas and rescue hostages. His office saying the military will, quote, prepare for taking control of Gaza City while distributing humanitarian assistance to the civilian population outside the combat zones. Last month, 28 Western aligned nations, including Canada, called for Israel to end the war. According to Gaza's health ministry, Israeli airstrikes and attacks have killed at least 61,000 Palestinians. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has taken another verbal swing at U.S. President Donald Trump.
He's probably the most disliked politician in the world in Canada because he's attacked his closest family member, and that's the way we look upon it. And when I talk to the governors and senators and Congress people, even Republicans totally disagree, but they're too scared to come out and say anything because the president will go after them.
Appearing on CNN, Ford said Canada will continue to be America's closest ally and will outlast the Trump administration. Last week, Trump slapped a 35% tariff on goods not covered under the Canada-US-Mexico trade agreement. Ford has been pushing for Canada to retaliate by imposing a dollar-for-dollar tariff on American goods. Now, those same U.S. tariffs are taking a toll on the world's largest automaker. Toyota slashed its annual profit forecast. The auto giant expecting a loss of nearly $10 billion on cars imported to the U.S. because of the tariffs. This is the highest estimate yet by any company. There are 3 plants in Canada, all of them in Ontario. A judge has reserved his decision on whether to review a proposed Alberta separation referendum question. The question would ask Albertans if they think the province should become a sovereign country. A provincial chief electoral officer proposed the question to the Edmonton court last week, asking the judge to determine whether it violates the Constitution, including treaty rights. Now, the group that proposed the question argues the act of asking it doesn't cross any lines, and that would only come into play if the referendum passed and negotiations on separation begin. The judge is expected to give a ruling next Thursday. Well, a little Harry Potter, anyone? After all this time, always.
Welcome to Hogwarts.
I don't go looking for trouble. Trouble usually finds me.
Sounds a little bit like Maggie Smith, right? But it's the voice of Michelle Gomez as Professor McGonagall for the upcoming Harry Potter Audible series. More than 200 voices will breathe new life into the original 7 Harry Potter books. You may notice the new Hermione Granger in this video too. Arabella Stanton has not only been cast in the Audible project, she will also play Granger in the new HBO TV series. The first installment, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, drops in November. That's the Audible series, the books, not TV. You'll hear Riz Ahmed as Professor Snape, and Hugh Laurie is voicing Albus Dumbledore.